Pranks are the most watched content on YouTube. In this video is a list of the top 6 pranks gone wrong and killed people. Here are 6 pranks that killed people. 1. Adrienne Broadway, a 15-year-old girl from Little Rock, Arkansas, was with her friends toilet papering, egging, and throwing mayonnaise on a car, in retaliation for a prank someone else had pulled on her group. Unfortunately, a 48-year-old man came out of the house and opened fire on them and their car, killing her and injuring one of her friends. The shooter, Willie Noble, was later sentenced to 30 years in prison for Broadway's death. 2. What seemed like an innocent jumpscare became fatal in 2013 when an 18-year-old girl named Premila Lal hid in a closet at her house, knowing that a family friend was there watching over the property. She planned to surprise him by jumping out of the closet, but the house sitter, 21-year-old Narek Gali, was packing heat at the time, this despite playing video games with her 15-year-old brother. When he heard the noises of her entry, he grabbed his gun to investigate. Believing her to be an intruder, Gali shot the girl when she opened the door, and she later succumbed to her injuries at an area hospital. 3. One man's decision to suit up as Bigfoot to summon a few scares cost him his life. 44-year-old Randy Lee Tenley impersonated the elusive beast in 2012 by donning a military-style ghillie suit on the side of Kalispell, Montana's Highway 93, to spook travelers on the road into thinking they'd witnessed the sought-after animal. Instead, he was run over by 2 teen drivers and died as a result of his injuries. 4. A traffic sign antic in Circleville, Ohio became the site of a horrific crash scene in 2011 after a pair of local teens decided to wrap an intersection stop sign in plastic and petroleum jelly, rendering it invisible to drivers. The pair, 19-year-old Seth Stonerock and 18-year-old Derek Greenlee, apparently thought their roadside ruse was funny and bragged about it on Facebook. Sadly, 2 elderly women, 85-year-old Mary Spangler and 81-year-old Jean Shea, died after driving past the concealed sign and being struck by another vehicle. Stonerock was sentenced to 4 years in prison for being the central culprit, while charges were dropped against Greenlee, who claimed he tried to talk his friend out of it. 5. Ding Dong Ditch was a common source of young amusement at one time, but when 16-year-old Mark Drews engaged in the old door-to-door pastime in Boca Raton, Florida in 2003, it proved to be a deadly game. Drews was shot to death while walking away from the home of Jay Levin, who claimed he thought Drews was an armed intruder. 6. Wedgies might be an ordinary part of childhood roughhousing, but in 2013, an underwear escapade became fatal. During an argument, 33-year-old Bradley Davis pulled his 58-year-old stepfather Denver St. Clair's bottoms so far up, the elastic band slipped around his neck and asphyxiated him. Davis claimed that the act was in self-defense.